I recall a time when I used my voice with such clarity and confidence and ferocity in the name of my safety, and it startled me. I couldn't believe that I was screaming with confidence and clarity and fierceness in the way that I was. And it was a life-changing moment for me. I was working at a bakery on the north side of Chicago, and one of my responsibilities was to bring our baked goods down to the farmers market early Saturday mornings. So I was required to show up to the bakery before anyone else on Saturdays at 5 a.m., unlock the door, head in, load the truck, bring everything down. 5 a.m. in Chicago is dark, and there are people coming home from the bar at that hour. The streets are mostly empty, but there are the people starting their day and there are the people ending their nights, and worlds kind of collide sometimes, even though we're on different realities for the most part. And there was a bar a block away from the bakery that I was aware of. I knew people who went there. I wasn't too worried about it, but I was always alert when I showed up to work and had to unlock the door in the dark as a woman, as a person. And one day I went to unlock the door and I heard a guy behind me, and he asks, "Do you have a lighter?" And I kind of jumped, but I knew people were around, so I turned and looked at him and I said, "No." Very clearly, I wanted him to get the message. No, back off. But I just said no, period. And I'm looking at him, and then he takes a step toward me and says, "Are you sure?" And from my gut came a voice I had never heard before. And it was, "Get the F away from me. I said no, back off. Get out of here. You heard me." And his response was, whoa, you don't gotta be crazy. I'm just asking for a lighter." Now, it's 5 a.m. It's dark. I assume this guy came from the bar. I assume he had been drinking or on drugs. There were drugs at this bar. I'm a woman. My back's to you. I already said no. Who knows what his intentions were? He walked away at that point, thank God. That was the end of our interaction. And of course, he made it seem like, "Oh, you're being nuts." Yeah, I'm being nuts. Back away from me. But I said it with such clarity, with such certainty, with such confidence. And that's not something I always knew how to do, especially out in the world. So when I walked into the bakery after this guy walked away and I locked the door behind me and turned on the light, I was a little startled. Wow, that came out of me. I just stuck up for myself. I just looked out for myself. I just used my voice to protect myself, even if it was nothing, which who's to say? I still did it. And I'm not sure that I could have done that years earlier. Can't really say for sure, but years earlier, I was so timid with my voice. I was so willing to be a pushover. I was so willing to make even a stranger on the street comfortable. So this was an interesting morning for me that day on the north side of Chicago, because I realized, wow, I can use my voice. And I believe the reason that was possible was because I had been practicing using my voice. So many of us were not encouraged to use our voice, or we had our voice taken from us or silenced or dimmed, or told our words and thoughts and expression are terrible, awful, too much, dumb, worthless. And some of us turned inward, stopped using our voice, stopped speaking, stopped saying anything out of the ordinary, stopped asking for what we wanted, saying what we needed, how we felt, because we had been shut down so many times, ignored, belittled, whatever it may be. And that day on the north side of Chicago, I realized the work I had been doing, practicing using my voice through the years, paid off. in a very clear moment, but also I could see in other ways too. I didn't always have confidence in my voice, and I'm still learning. But when I was younger, I knew I have to learn because I am so scared to talk in this world. And so I started working in restaurants because what a perfect place to learn. You have to talk to so many people, all kinds of people. I was a server, a barista, a bartender, a hostess, a busser, a food runner. I've done it all. Bar back. You talk to so many people from around the world. I lived in Chicago, from people around the world, all ages, all races, men, women, trans, gay, straight, bi, mean, nice, people who want to tear you down, people who want to lift you up, people who demand things that you can't even offer them, people who are mad about their food, people who love their food. I mean, you're dealing with everyone. Drunk people, people on drugs, people who are hungover, divorced, and mad about it, mad at their kids, mad at their husband, mad at their wife, taking it out on you. You see what I'm saying? So it's the perfect place to practice a restaurant. I'm sure there are others. And I did that for years. And there were times I would panic because I'm like, I can't go talk to people today. I don't want people to look at me. I don't want people to ridicule me. But what are you going to do when that's your job? You got to show up. And I practiced, I worked at it. And it paid off, not just in that moment of needing safety, but in relationships, at work, with family, with friends, with myself, with bosses, with strangers. This is what I need. This is what I want. How are you? Who are you? Tell me what you need. Here's what I need. I want more money. I want more space. I want more time. I want more freedom. I need, I think, I feel. It took practice. It was a muscle. It is a muscle. It's a skill. It did not come naturally to me, or if it did, I lost it somewhere along the way, and I had to get it back. And my voice is powerful. Our voices are powerful. Our ideas, our feelings, our thoughts, our expression is powerful, and I think it's important for our health. I'm a believer that using my voice is essential to my health. Not just in that obvious example of staying safe on the street, but in releasing feelings that need to be released, thoughts, ideas, so they don't hold in my body and resentment and bitterness builds up at my neighbor, at my husband, at my friends, at my boss. Those words need to come out. Boundaries need to be set. Expectations need to be expressed rather than held inside. But it can take practice to use our voice at work, with friends, with family, in a respectful way, in a confident way, in an assertive way. And I think about COVID, when we were isolated, many of us, for so long, communicating only through a screen. And when the world started to open up, many people, including myself, felt so awkward out in the world because we had been communicating through screens for so long. Face-to-face interaction suddenly felt so multidimensional and loaded and complex, and we were out of practice because it's a practice. Meaning we can get stronger with it. We can develop skills with it, regardless of where we're at with it now. And it's so important. So I want to remind you that your voice is important, and to practice using it and to develop the skill in a way that will serve you in your life, in keeping you healthy, safe, fulfilled, joyful, connected, taken care of, heard, etc. You can always learn, you can always develop the skill, and I encourage you to use it for good, for safety, for love, for advancement, for connection, for health. Even if your voice was taken from you or silenced or dimmed a long time ago, you can bring it back and use it again.